Welcome to the Proud Pinoy segment where we train the spotlight on a Pinoy entrepreneur who has made his country proud with his highly successful business venture. This is a particularly interesting feature because of the humble beginnings of a venture that has gone global to his own amazement and surprise.
Everybody is familiar with Potato Corner, a brand that is truly Filipino, but one that has successfully conquered other parts of the globe. We are a rice-eating people, and potatoes are not our staple. But then again, French fries have gone as mainstream as one can get. And building on that, the group behind Potato Corner has built their very own empire. This is Joe Magsaysay, one of 4 partners who started it all. Joe is quite the storyteller and he's here to tell us how Potato Corner came about.
Yung Potato Corner started, let's put it this way, 4 kaming partners dyan eh. Si Ricky Montelibano, George Winicky, these are the 4 original partners George Winicky, Danny Bermejo, myself and Ricky Montelibano, and the wives, di ba? Siyempre the families. First, ang nangyari dyan, ang kwento dyan, si Ricky Montelibano, who's my brother-in-law, meron siyang first flavored popcorn sa Philippines. Okay? Ang pangalan was George Popcorn. It was the first to put cheese and barbecue on the popcorn here, and it made so well. Made so well that he only had siguro 1, 2, and then about 3 outlets, but it did so well. Nakabili siya ng brand yung kotse, nakabili siya ng bagong cellphone. Lalo pa cellphone, dahil nung 1990s, early 90s, ang cellphone was, ang mahal ng cellphone nung araw eh. Yung malaki, yung para mga plansa. Ang mahal nun. But anyway, he had money enough because of his flavored popcorn business. He was doing well. Then, model siya ng commercial model siya eh. So one time, he was casting for a commercial dun sa isang agency. Yung casting manager dun, or head ng casting, I don't know how they call it, was George. Naging kaibigan niya si Ricky. So nagtatanong si Rick, parang yaman mo may cellphone ka, ganun, daming kotse. No, pare, may business ako, sabi ni Ricky. May business ako flavored popcorn. Talaga, wow. Ganon, so usap-usap sila. But eventually, George said, Rick, baka pwede tayo maglagay ng flavor sa ibang product naman. And then they ended up talking about putting it in French fries. Doon na yung idea was formed, flavored French fries. Then George asked his best friend, Danny Bermejo. Okay, so 3 na sila. So they were already experimenting na nila yung pangalan. They came up with the name Potato Corner.
At that time, Joe has been working with Wendy's for about 9 years already, and he needed extra cash for a growing family. When the group asked him to join in before they opened their first outlet, he readily agreed but stayed on his job for the meantime. They opened their first outlet in July of 1992.
Wala naman kaming pera, kaya kiosk lang ginawa namin. Diba? Yung model na parang na-inspire sila was really the popcorn business of Ricky The flavored popcorn business of Ricky. That was just a cart also. So, because pera lang na ako nung nag-startup kami, ang kapital na kailangan namin was 150,000 pesos. May 4 kami divided by 4. So 37,500 pesos each kami doon. Wala akong pera ako di ba? Empleyado sa Wendy's. So, naghanap ako. Nagtanong ako sa kapatid ko. My brother wouldn't lend me money. So I was able to borrow somewhere else.
It's not usual for someone who has the security of a good job to risk it all and venture into untested waters, but that is exactly what Joe and his partners did.
Yeah, you'd call it a risk, you know why? Because I was still in Wendy's when we opened our first outlet. After 30 days, you know what happened? But something good happened. After 30 days, we paid back. The business was a success. I didn't know naman it was going to be a success, but we're lucky that it was. But also, at the same time, the president of Wendy's asked me to his office. And then he asked me, Joe, mamili ka nga, potato corner o Wendy's? And you know, I also thank him for that because he gave me a choice. And then, yeah, I chose potato corner. So.
One of his partners kept his successful popcorn business for another 8 years after they first opened. But Joe concentrated on potato corner. Their first outlet was in Mandaluyong.
It was a cart, no? We wouldn't have afforded to open anything bigger than a cart. And then there were opportunities for us to expand. People are giving us sites or asking to franchise. We didn't have any money na to expand because I think the three of us borrowed lang money. So what did we do? To us, the next best thing to expand was to franchise. After 2 months, we expanded. We opened October. Then we gave out our first franchise January.
Without much background on franchising but with a great need for a bigger operating capital, the group went headlong into franchising. It was fortunate for Joe that he had some basic knowledge of the principle of franchising, having spent 9 years at Wendy's, which in itself is a franchise. They lost no time in researching on the subject on the internet and read books as well to prepare for this big leap. They even had to copy franchise agreements for their first few franchises.
So our first franchise was, we didn't have any manuals, we didn't have any contract. Our first 3 franchises were just handshakes.
To each his own style indeed, and without the benefit of formal training and manuals, Potato Corner went into franchising and raised their much-needed capital.
It's because of franchising that we were able to dominate the market. Imagine if we didn't franchise and we said, oh sige, 10 muna, we'll open 10 floors. That's very dangerous. Unless you're a company like a Jollibee or like a San Miguel, you have plenty of money in the bank, then you can open 100 right away. Yun, okay lang yun. Depende. To us at that time, that was the best thing we would have done. So not all the rules apply to anyone. That's why, to me, I don't believe in one rule applies to everybody. So it depends. There's always a solution for each business, for each person. In the Philippines, there are no franchising laws. So there's no franchising laws to follow. People will tell us, oh, this is the international franchise law. Why will we follow that? I'm just franchising in the Philippines now. Then when we started to go outside the Philippines na, that's when we already hired consultants who will benchmark with international standards already.
Their first foray into foreign soil was Indonesia. There was a young Indonesian student whose father was in charge of security at the Israeli embassy here. He studied at the international school and lived at the Ritz Tower in Ayala Avenue in Makati. Every afternoon, he said, he would walk to Glorieta just to buy Potato Corner. And when the family went back to Indonesia, the young man decided to bring Potato Corner to Indonesia as a business. He first called in 2003 and every year after that until Joe finally acceded in 2006. That was when they opened their first store in Indonesia. And today they are counting 100 stores in Indonesia alone. They have also since conquered the American market.
Our marketing is all about a good product. Our US started after Indonesia in 2010 naman. Like for the US, in 2008, I got an email naman. Dear Mr. Magsaysay, I finally found you. I've always enjoyed Potato Corner. When my dad was head of security at the Israeli embassy, I studied in international school. And every day from the Ritz Towers, I'd cross Ayala Avenue to go to Glorieta to buy Potato Corner. Now, I want to do business here in the US, and I want to bring Potato Corner here.
Joe thinks that they got this far because their products has always been the first and the original wherever they brought it.
Swerte kami, parang kami rin yung first and original sa US eh. At saka sa Indonesia, wherever we're going, kami parang yung first and original flavored french fries eh. So in the US nga, nung pa-open pa lang kami doon, nagtanong ako ng isang marketing guru sa Amerika eh. Sabi ko, what do you think about bringing Potato Corner flavored french fries in the United States? Sagot sa akin eh, I don't think it will work, Joe. It's like selling ice to Eskimos. Buti na lang, hindi ako nakinig doon. So it's working now, you know. Although US is the land of french fries, so they're just looking for new ways of eating french fries pala.
From starting out with only a service crew of 4, Potato Corner now employs about 200, only in their company-owned stores alone. Joe never imagined the company would grow this big.
Wala talaga. You know, nung sumali ako, sabi ko, sige, sama ako dyan. Kasi kulang lang ako ng naghahanap lang ako ng sideline para may pambili ng gatas, no, sa anak. So, malay ko ba na magiging ganito yung Potato Corner? Wala talagang inkling na Potato Corner will expand rapidly in the Philippines, will go global, will be a Hall of Fame brand. So, no idea that would happen. But, in fact, nung early ng Potato Corner, naghanap pa ako ibang trabaho eh. Kasi, syempre, nung first few years ng Potato Corner, wala namang sweldo eh. So, but again, hard work lang talaga.
Some of their original employees are still with them, and Joe considers his loyal employees as their most important asset.
Yung iba, pinaparal na namin ng Masters sa Ateneo. So, see, we take care of everybody. Then we have franchisees who've been with us for more than 20 years. So, we take care of everybody naman.
The owners are lucky that they have stumbled on a novel idea and a good product, so the challenges were not too big. Still, Joe finds that in pushing the brand and the company, they need to find ways to control the business and ensure sustained quality of the product.
So we continue to make sure the product is still very strong. We're definitely growing pa, no? We're by the end of this year, we'll have opened siguro 150 stores or 160 stores by this 2016. Then maybe 10 stores or 20 stores outside the Philippines. So next year maybe we'll have more openings naman for 2017. And 2017 is going to be very significant to us kasi we're celebrating our 25th year already.
He credits his partners, his franchisees, and loyal employees, and of course his insatiable customers for the success of the brand. His advice to entrepreneurs?
Do one thing at a time. Commit yourself in doing one thing, in growing that one thing. I did that for Potato Corner. All these 24, I've run Potato Corner almost half of my life already. And there's only one thing that I made sure I run. It's only Potato Corner. I think if you want to succeed to grow a business or whatever you're doing, just concentrate on that one thing only, to give it a chance to grow. Because if you put your mind to two things, more than three things or many things, you divide yourself. So to me, the best advice I can give is just do one thing. And that has been very fruitful for us because of that. This year, last August, I retired already from Potato Corner. So I'm 55 and I retired already. So no, why not, di ba? I mean, I took care of the company, me and my partners took care of the company for the last 24 years. It's time that the company naman take care of us.
That is the success story of Potato Corner, a proudly Filipino brand that has successfully conquered foreign markets against all odds.